All right, so let's go over Chapter 3, Exercise 4 um, for the dresser. AutoCAD, here we are. Okay, so how I would begin this is basically when you're doing these, you want to look at the overall dimension of the item. And just like how you draft a floor plan where you do the largest size and then you start to whittle away and make the individual rooms, you do an object the same way. So if I do a rectangle and I click on the screen and I pull my field out, I am going to actually draw this 3 feet, 5.5 inches wide. Wait a minute. Actually 3 feet 10.5 inches wide by 3 feet 6 inches tall. So what I want to do is I want to enter for my dimension and put in 3 feet 10.5 inches, enter, and then my other dimension 3 feet 6 inches, enter. And then I want to click on the screen to anchor it into place. So now I just have a big rectangle. So what I want to do now is I want to explode this rectangle. So EXPL. See how it's highlighted blue? I've clicked on it, right click, that object has now been exploded. So let's get the top thickness. It looks like it is 1 inch thick. Offset, enter, 1 inch, enter. Click on the object, click down, right click to complete. I have another 1 inch thick, so I should have done them both at the same time. Specify distance, right click for it to remain the same, down again. Okay, so the inset, let's see what we've got here. It's going to be 3 foot 5.5 inches on the inset, and the leg is actually up. There's a 1 inch inset, so I need to repeat this again. Goes in, go in, and the thickness of that rail is 1.5 inches, so I need to change that. So right click to repeat, 1.5 inches, enter. There we go. Now I want to clean this up a little bit. This is starting to get a little bit messy and I don't like to let it get too far. So I want to trim from that line these outer points. Right click. I want to repeat the trim from right here. Get rid of, I can actually do a very small bounding box. Get rid of those. I want to trim between those. Get rid of that. And that just cleans it up a little bit as I'm working on it. Alrighty. And then I want to also trim here. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. And for right now, I'm going to keep this one right here, and I'll deal with that here in one moment. So I'm looking at, I've got the top is pretty well set. Now I'm looking at the bottom section. So I need to have a 3 inch gap between the floor and up. So I'm going to offset 3 inches, enter. There we go. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Trim. Select those two. I'm going to get rid of that in there, and I want to get rid of this middle line. Okay, now I want to offset this 1 inch. So offset 1 inch up. Okay, now each one of these drawers is 9 inch deep. So I want to offset 9 inches. Oops, got a little carried away there. I almost did too many. Okay, so there we go. Now, the next thing we need to do is I need to find out where 4.5 inches off the side is. So I'm actually going to want to do a construction line. So go to my construction line icon. I'm going to hit O, enter for offset. I want to put 4.5 inches, enter. And I want to do it off of both of these sides. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is, okay, so these are in the middle of here. So I actually want to repeat a construction line. And I'm going to want to make it a horizontal construction line. And oops, I'm going to do this differently. So construction line, I want to offset, and I want it to be 4.5 inches, enter. And I want it to be off of there. Okay, so now I have this mapped out. So my next step, these knobs are 1.5 inch diameter knobs. So I go to my circle, I go to my midpoint, all right, and I type in D for diameter, 1.5 inches, enter. There we go. I can say copy. There we go. So I have that aligned. Now I need to get more of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset. O, enter, 9 inches, enter. And I actually want to offset my construction lines. This will become clear in a minute. Now, what I want to do is I want to copy that object. So those are selected, right click. Now I'm going to pick a base point, which is going to be the center. So I'm going to click on that base point and carry it up to the next base point. Right click. So now I need to get rid of these construction lines so this cleans up a little bit. So I'm going to do bounding edges on these, hit delete. All right, so now I have my chest. So let's get our dimension lines in. Next thing we're going to do, of course it's not working, so we'll do it differently. All right, so dimension linear. I need to get, and actually I want to zoom out just a smidge so I can see a little bit better to dimension appropriately. There we go. All right, so escape, oops, linear dimension, try this again. All right, so click from here, over, there you go. And then I want to right click to repeat, there to there. And I like to snap it to the middle. It just kind of keeps it tidy. I want to go from the very top to the very bottom. All right. I want to get oops, snapped the wrong thing. So let's repeat that and get to the right thing. All right. So my middle. I need to get my thickness. But see how you're stacking your dimensions, so you're keeping it extremely tidy. Okay, so over there to there. Come on, go off to the side, please. Let's do this differently. To there. There we go. Okay, so I have those dimensions now. If I do the ones off to the side, go from here down. Okay. Repeat. And you want your snaps on when you're doing this, because what happens is it makes it easier to align. All right. Now I need to zoom in a little bit so that way I can be sure that I see what I'm doing. Right here, I actually want to do a mark on the center of that right there. Okay. And what that will allow me to do is it will allow me to go back to my dimension and to dimension from, come on, the center, okay, to right here. And then it will also allow me to go from the center to right there, pull that down. So that way you can see how I have that mounted. It will also, let me put one over here as well. All right, right click and go from the center to the center, right there. And if I zoom out, I can also get, okay, and then get the leg width. There we go. All right, and that is how you draw your chest and get your dimensioning in.